I'm Chaz KLIMCZAK, and you're watching KLIMCZAK'S Killer Collection. After the wild success of Halloween and Friday the 13th at the box office, independent filmmakers began to cash in on the low-budget, big-return genre. Some of those filmmakers were from Canada, and Canada produced some serious slashers. Among them, My Bloody Valentine, Curtains, Funeral Home, Terror Train, Prom Night, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Also among them, tonight's feature slasher, Happy Birthday to Me. Let's head to the screening room and take a look.
Well, I was just going up to the village to meet some of the kids at the inn.
You mean the second home for the Crawford Top 10, don't you?
Happy Birthday to Me came along in the first wave of post-Halloween slashers, but filmmakers were already twisting some of the established genre cliches. Happy Birthday to Me doesn't begin with some tragedy that happened in the past. It opens with a kill in the present. This practice became a common variant on the tried-and-true formula of establishing a motive whose roots were planted some years previous for the antagonist to grow from. This almost guarantees the viewer is in for a slasher whodunit. If the face being chased by the antagonist looks familiar, it belongs to Leslie Donaldson, a Canadian actress who appeared more prominently in the Canadian horror films Curtains and Funeral Home. Leslie's character serves as her setup. We know she hangs with the popular kids, and she's about to meet her demise, which means this is one of those slashers that cemented the idea that to get caught, you have to be hot. It's a movie about popular kids getting killed. Hardly ahead of its time, but definitely a major player. It is soon established that the popular kids place bets on who will and won't attempt to jump the local drawbridge as it rises. Through atmosphere and competent direction, it is established that this game plays a role in the trauma that sparks the series of murders taking place at Crawford Academy. Here lies both HBTM's strength and weakness. While the atmosphere, acting, and photography keep this film from being a total bomb, the nature of this film's narrative makes it excruciatingly long for a slasher film. At 108 minutes, it's just way too long. And so is this ridiculously awesome jump. Go Canada.
And if I hear of any more of these outrageous incidents, I will be forced to declare the inn out of bounds.
What's so funny?
But it gets even more muddled. HBTM employs one of the most annoying plot conventions that a slasher film could possibly employ. A science or technology that does not yet exist, nor will it likely exist anytime soon, but will most likely never ever exist, other than to explain why this particular set of murders absolutely had to take place on someone's birthday. And we all know it's because by May of 1981, most of the major holidays, including Halloween, Friday the 13th, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, yes, even Thanksgiving, and Christmas, had all already been covered, making birthdays fair, if not desperate, game. And Happy Birthday to Me isn't the only slasher to have covered this special occasion. Both Bloody Birthday and Allison's Birthday were released that same year. To fully appreciate the charm of this little slasher, one must take a moment to consider the cheerleading uniforms of the Crawford Academy soccer team. They leave no room for doubt as to what department suffered the most during budget meetings during the making of this film. One thing HBTM boasts right from the tagline are bizarre murders. In fact, the tagline promised 6 of the most bizarre murders you have ever seen. That should give younger audiences an idea of how these films survived their respective time period. America had become so puritanically penetrated and sedated that an intellectual subculture clung to these films as the anecdote to Reagan's impending promise of a union-free, overworked, and exploited America. Is there a better time for exploitation cinema than in times when American values are being exploited the most? And who better to point it out than Canada? If you think you're looking at a spoiler, don't be alarmed. It's not what you think, nor is this movie what you think. This movie even isn't sure what it is or what to think. It took such a remarkable amount of time for any of the flashbacks to make sense that by the time we reach the big reveal, we've already forgotten what's being revealed. Still, Happy Birthday to Me should not be overlooked when considering the genre. It's got plenty of atmosphere, some big names, a seasoned director, a major studio behind it. It was just a little more ambitious than Good Sense requires, and still manages to be fun on a restless cold night or rainy afternoon. There's enough camp and silly dialogue to delight the completist and entertain the casual viewer, even for 108 minutes. The special effects are pretty impressive, and a scene or two might even make you jump, which makes Happy Birthday to Me a win for everyone. Except the guests, of course. Happy Birthday to Me is a solid 3 on the slasher scale. It loses 2 slashes for being overwrought and lengthy, but atmosphere, inventive murder sequences, solid directing, and competent acting make up for the deficiency. While Happy Birthday to Me is hardly a horror classic, it is a notable entry in the slasher genre. Coming early in the post-Halloween slasher cycle, it will be remembered for its endless stint on cable and as a popular rental at mom-and-pop VHS shops. I'm Chaz KLIMCZAK, and I'll see you again on KLIMCZAK'S Killer Collection.
Mr. Waba.
Do 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 do.